internet brings comic fans.
Well, I guess it's not playing the intro right away, so I guess we'll just do it.
Comic book community. Comic creators and comic fans, tonight you are seen, heard, recognized, because comics are for everyone. Live from Miami, Florida, broadcasting around the world, this is the Not Near Mint Show.
There you go.
Oh, welcome to the Not Near Mint Show, everybody. It is Friday. It is the beginning of February, and, well, we're going to jump right on into the top 10 comics of this past week. And again, how I usually do these, well, as you see behind me, I have 27,000 comics, and if you put everything into CLZ and have it linked to a subscribed account that's paid for CovrPrice, it'll spit out a nice list every time you put value update, and this is the list. I go with the top 5 and the bottom 5. So we're going to start off with the bottom 5 and switch out the camera to the comics of the week. So here we go. Starting off with number 10, we have G.I. Joe issue 155. This is the newsstand. You can tell by a barcode that looks a little bit like that. And this week in a 7.5 of VF minus, somebody paid $195. It is down 85. And it's these last issues that we're going to be talking about also later this episode, because we're going to be talking about what comics to look for in a down market. And for my money, it's always going to be final issues, because first issues are printed up and down. Final issues, it's getting canceled. It's towards the end. There's not much left. Number 9, we have All-Star Comics number 58. This is the first appearance of Power Girl in a 7.0, fine, very fine. Somebody paid this week $86. This came out in 1975, down $76. There is an ongoing comic right now where she is in it. Yet for some reason, this thing dropped a little bit. It's easy to get a decent copy for under $100 right now. So if you're able to, now's the time, especially considering the fact the stock market dropped this week on Friday, 444.22 points. Bitcoin right now is at $96.7 thousand, where the high was a couple weeks ago, 106,000. So the investor class people, well, all their money is tied up right now. So if their money's tied up, it means that if you're trying to get the bigger books, you'll have an easier time doing so this weekend on a Sunday. Number 8, we have Thanos, issue 13 from volume 2. Back when Donny Cates was a huge household name, this was a huge book. This was a $100 book easy. But because Donny Cates hasn't worked in quite some time because of a disability that happened after an accident where it caused traumatic brain injury, we do not foresee him coming back to doing regular comics anytime soon. So as a result, we haven't seen Cosmic Ghost Rider in some time, at least not written by him. As a result, this came out in 2017 in a near mint condition, $30. It is down $72 this week. So if you're trying to find that Cosmic Ghost Rider, you might even be able to find it cheaper.
That's crazy.
Tell me about it. I paid about $50 for the full run of 13 through, I think, 16 or 17 or 19. But that was like back in 2021.
Oofta.
Well, number 7 here. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 100. This is another issue that's down, mostly because there's nothing particular key about it. It's just a 100th anniversary issue with John Romita Sr. cover. He did a lot of them. Well, this came out in 1971, also in a fine, very fine 7.0 raw. Somebody paid $170, down 66.
Wow.
And a lot of people have just not been picking up the bigger books. You'll notice that throughout this entire list this week, such as number 2, New Gods. Issue 2 of New Gods is number 6. First cover appearance of Darkseid and a couple characters nobody really cares as much about, but it's this dude right here that people should want. What are you going to say, Tacoma?
Dark Side is.
Dark Side was apparently.
Dark Side is.
Oh, in Tom
It
King's
was Dark Side.
in Tom King's Mr. Miracle run, they just kept repeating the phrase "Dark Side is," and it became like horrifyingly scary. It was so well done.
Well, this thing here in a also fine, very fine 7.0 raw. Oh, this really hurts. This hurts almost as bad, probably even worse than Moon Girl being really down last week because somebody got this in a higher grade, $8.
Wow.
$8 paid for on eBay this week.
Wow.
It is down $36.
I am looking for the wrong stuff on eBay, apparently.
I know I paid a lot more than $8 for that. Well, now that we have a new movie coming out, most people are looking at the Lobo appearances, but it's caused this minor key to, people are looking for it now. Now these are the books that have gone up. These are the top 5 books. So this one right here, this is the number 5 this week, came out in 1969. It is basically the first ongoing solo series for Supergirl in Adventure Comics. And this week, $49. It is up 21. Now, for those that aren't collecting war comics, you can be forgiven not to know what all the keys are, but now you know that Sergeant Rock is coming out with a movie. People are trying to find out what are the keys. There are plenty of them, but this one here is one of the villains. Enemy Ace is up. A lot of the other villains, many of them, they're kind of up. But this one here is the first appearance of Battle Album. As you see, he's grabbing a Hitler mustache. Probably said the wrong word there on YouTube. But it's fiction. So World War II based on Sergeant Rock stuff. So this came out in 1971 in a fine, very fine. That's my sweet spot for this time period. 1971, $65. It is up 35. First appearance of Battle Album. Number 3 is nothing new to anybody that's been collecting comics for the last minute or two. This is the first cameo appearance of Venom, first time that Amazing Spider-Man was worked on with a cover by Todd McFarlane, first Life Foundation, and first Carlton Drake. This book came out in 1980 for the newsstand variant. Right down there you'll see. It came out in 1988. It is very fine. $163. It is up $49. This has been an overlooked book. It was a $30 book for a long time. Oh, hey, good to see you, Lacrusis and C. Woodard. Glad to see anybody watching tonight. Especially since this weekend is MegaCon, and it is in Orlando. It is about 350 miles away, and I'm not driving 5 hours where I didn't get paid all my money for my paycheck this week. So number 2, we have Incredible Hulk issue 141. This is the first appearance of Doc Samson. So
oh yeah, that's great.
He's currently a Sasquatch. And I guess Doc Samson.
I have that. Only book I got on your list this week.
What happened?
That's the only book I have on your list this week.
So far, you might have the final one. Anybody that's watching the show, if you're not doing it in the live chat, do it in the after show. Just drop a comment saying how many issues out of 10 that you have in your collection. So this issue came out in 1971 and a very fine minus. Somebody paid $165. It is up $53 this week. Now, the number 1 book in all the land, it is because there's a TV show coming. It is because there is a movie with characters of Green Lantern in it. But also, you got a sexy first appearance of Star Sapphire. The number 1 book in all the land, this is from volume 2 of Green Lantern issue 16, came out in 1962, and a very good plus, 4.5 raw. Somebody paid $280. It is up $80. There's plenty of them out there, and you can get them for less if you look enough. So those were the top 10 books of this week. And we have joining us tonight, Tacoma, along with Miracleman. Lady Fantastic might be getting prepared for the hunt later tonight. I believe they're going to be moving to Saturday nights from here on out.
Ooh. Yeah, I think Tony's working nights now.
No, that's probably why they had to move it.
Hey, Tony, hey. So,
Oh, we also got Yul Carter. We watch him over there on Fantastic Comics on Tuesday.
Nice.
So I got some cool stuff to show. I was in Midtown Comics this weekend, right there in Times Square.
So when you went, was it fair market value or just steeply overpriced?
Midtown doesn't have a lot of back issues, right?
It
It's one of the-
doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So I was in the time, right?
You gotta
Literally,
get
I
down
was
to 14th Street.
like around the block from the Times Square location, it was not great back issues. There's a quantity, but it's not very good stock. I will say this: if you wanted a trade or a collected edition hardcover or anything like that, excellent place to check out. They had a lot of great books. They had stuff that you don't see most shops stock, like all the PS art books that are the the softy covers of the classic gold, silver age stuff from Charlton and all the defunct publishers. Normally you have to special order those, but they actually had them on the shelf. That's pretty good there, Seawater. So in that regards, they're pretty good. And I'll tell you what, I went there Thursday night because I missed Wednesday, and every single book that would have been sold out at your LCS, they still had on the shelf. Every single one.
I mean, most shops right now aren't even over ordering because they don't want to be stuck with just the surplus that isn't going to be sold. Will have to likely go to a dollar bin unless they just want to keep it at cover price or add another $1, and it just sits there forever.
Yeah. And then I come along and get it for 50 cents.
Right. Well, we prefer that. We all prefer that, right?
But, speaking of which, with your Elf Quest down there, I just watched a copy go for $177 or so on eBay for that first Fantasy Quarterly. I'm still looking for it, but I wasn't going to pay $200.
That's funny.
You mind a ripped corner? I'll show you after the show.
Low grade, better than no grade, baby.
Oh, you should see one of the books that I got this week, but I want to see some of yours because you went to Midtown and people kind of want to know, well, I'm in New York this week. Should I go to Midtown? And I'm going to defer to Miracleman. Let's see what you got.
Listen, I'd say go to Midtown, but if you're going to go anywhere, go to Comic Book Station, way deeper on the back issues. And there's another place that's not far from Midtown Times Square, Montesey or Macy or something. I didn't make it to Forbidden Planet. I was there for work after all, but I did get a couple of nice books off the Midtown wall for not insane prices, like this Power Girl number 20. One of the tougher issues to find from the month where DC had all the white covers. And there's a pair of things that make people want this cover, I think.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Those fists, look how clenched they are.
They're great. They're super clenched. And then I got this Adam Hughes Catwoman. It's a good one. It's not one of the best Hughes covers, but it's a good one. And then I got this Mike Mayhew Vampirella from the Harris run, which is it's a beautiful cover, And then I got this. Now this was actually in the back stock. They actually had a fairly decent Vampirella Harris run. This is one of the only Savage Dragon books I didn't have. The Superman Savage Dragon Chicago. That's the second crossover.
Very low print, despite the fact I have a great cover.
Yeah, very low print run on that one. Not very common. And then the other place that I went to, that Monterey, I forget. I got some good stuff out of their bins. Now everything they did was like 3 for $10. So I didn't go too crazy. I kind of picked what were the best ones. I'll show you. I got a couple of Suicide Squads I didn't have, like the Justice League Suicide Squad crossover. I don't know how I didn't have these 2 issues. It doesn't even make sense to me. But I didn't have 10 or 8. I only had 9. And then to round it out, I got the 38 there and this 25. But I also got this beautiful Wonderland book.
Nice.
That's a nice one. One of the Ultimate Comics, the Ultimates I didn't have yet. That's a great cover. One of the Stitched books, which is from Avatar. It's one of their horror books. They're not exactly zombies. They're like, I don't know, but they're all stitched up. See, their eyes and their mouths are all stitched up. It's kind of terrifying. And the best one I got from there was this beauty right here. Betty Page photo cover.
Nice.
You know, it's not one of her nudes, but it's a beautiful cover. She looks very, very lovely there. Um, but I also got a couple of things that came in out of a dollar bin. Nice stuff here. Like I'm trying to finish this Spider-Girl run. So there's my couple issues from Amazing Spider-Girl I needed. It's pretty tough to find. And then one of the Marvel Knights Punisher books. And I don't know how I didn't have these 2 issues of Superman, but I didn't. And apparently 216 here is a little more of a chase. I don't know why. Not really sure. Kind of.
Oh, that must have been after Lee finished with the book.
It might be. It might still
And
probably
newsstand at that.
Right. So I grabbed it. And then I did an order off of comicbookexclusives.com, which is a great site. I'm a big fan of Dan Parent and Andrew Papoy. I love Dan Parent and Andrew Papoy. And Dan Parent did this Veronica Wonder Woman.
Oh,
look at that. How fucking beautiful that is. And not to be outdone, he also did a Betty as Power.
Warning. Bang.
So pretty. And of course, while I was on there, I had to peruse it, and I found some Papoy covers, and these are just dead sexy covers. Sabrina as a sexy witch. Sabrina, Betty, and Veronica as sexy Santas.
Oh, wow.
And Betty and Veronica as sexy, but also apparently dangerous witches. Look at those. If you go to Comic Book Exclusives, if you like these, if you go to Comic Book Exclusives, these are like $12, as opposed to a lot of places that do the exclusives on the 30. So really well priced. The guy does a whatnot show. Check it out. I don't remember if I showed this last week. This will be the last one I show before we flip over to you, Mr. Tacoma, for finish this chunk off. I don't remember if I showed this, but this is really cool. This is volume 1. I think it's issue 9. Yeah, issue number 9. This is a Disney Adventures little digest with my man, the Rocketeer. And this thing is in such great, like totally unopened, never read condition. These things are so hard to find in a nice condition because they were usually fucking destroyed before the kid left the store, right?
Absolutely.
These were not bought by adults. These were absolutely kids' throwaway products. I mean, it was a whole $1.95 in 1991. So it was a little pricey for 1991, but keep the kid quiet while you're pushing him around the supermarket. Real nice, real easy to do with that. So,
shut up. Read The Rocketeer.
That's right.
1991 seems like it wasn't that far away for us
God,
olds.
yeah, I know.
But it's over 30 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, and it looks brand new. This copy looks brand new. Like I said, looks like it was never even cracked. So probably the one book ever bought by an adult collector out of the Disney Adventures run. But really great one. I was really happy to get it. And now over to you, Tacoma.
All right. As I spit out the strip on the back of the resealable bags and throw it in the garbage. Yeah.
Love it.
I got 3. Oh, hey, sweetie. I'm busy right now. I'll talk to you later, okay? Stop stepping on the comic book. Sorry. Good girl. Got 3 chunks today. Here's the first chunk. So I actually got one of these just on a whim. Like I usually pick up my books. I use the app, whatever the app's called, to get my books and reserve them at my LCS. So I rarely do cover buys or things that like are modern. If it's modern, I know that I want it. I usually get it. But I got this Marvel Unleashed one with Miss Minutes on the cover, and I read it. I'm like, oh, that's cute. So I looked it up, and I realized there was this set of Ron Lim variants.
What?
So Marvel Unleashed is a group of, it's like the Pet Avengers. So it's a team of animals that includes Lockjaw from the Inhumans. It includes D-Dog, who's the best member because D-Dog is your classic, I'm a superhero, but he doesn't actually have any powers, but he always does what's right. He fights for right. He never gives up. He's like the hero's hero. He's great. Of course, we got Chewie from Captain Marvel, everybody's favorite Flurkin. You're not eating any comics, right?
Lucky Are you talking to the Flurkin or your cat?
Doesn't matter, man.
Yes.
Lucky the pizza dog. And I mean, I love sets, right? I love sets of comics where everything is like beautiful and just done in a certain way. So this really tickled my fancy. Red Wing, that is the Falcon's pet bird. Not pet, friendly bird. Jeff the Land Shark is not a member. Maybe he'll join like next volume or something. I don't know. And
definitely should.
Throg. So at the end of issue 1, I think we just see Throg. I've only read issue 1. I haven't read it, but it's a classic story. So 1, 2, 3. I think there's like two variants to issue 1, 2 variants to issue 2, and then a variant to issue 3 and a variant to issue 4. I think there's a 5th issue, but it's not a Ron Lim variant. So really excited with that. I rarely buy like modern stuff off of eBay, but I just looked it up, got a good price on what I feel is a good price on that. I think those are just great, really great covers. All right. Thought I finished this next run, but I didn't. Issue 3 has a sticker pull, so I don't count it. And this goes to 11. I feel like in a Spinal Tap. This one goes to 11.
Take a drink.
I only have the first 10.
Oh, yeah.
Toxic Avenger.
Newsstand.
This is in really nice shape. Nice newsstand. Issue number 1, Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, I love those.
Tacoma, since you're playing that, I think I can play this. It is a banger alert, but a very specific one.
Warning, 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 warning. Banger alert, banger alert. Holy fucking shit. Look at that fucking book. Oh my fucking God. Look at that fucking book. Oh my fucking God. Look at that book. Look at that book. Jesus. Oh my God.
I like turtles.
Everything about that is factually accurate. It all happened.
The turtle kid kills me every fucking time, man. I swear to God. Every time.
Night of the Living Hard Bodies.
Love it.
Lethal Linda and the Legend of Sludgifice. That's the one I got the sticker pull on there. I didn't realize that. I probably got that a long time ago and just forgot about it. Oh, bullets don't affect me.
Mm-hmm.
Behind his back lurks Biohazard.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, you got the Souvlaki Sewer Syndrome. Issue 7. Issue 8 is Give Me Souvlaki or Give Me Death.
Nice.
I was about both. And then probably my favorite cover, because this came out 1990, 1991. Word to Your Mother.
Oh, look at that.
Play that funky music, white boy.
That's a classic right there. That's a classic.
And then we finished off with Die Yuppie Scum, which was a big phrase back in like 1989, 1990.
Got to bring it back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Toxic Avenger sells out. And then I did miss issue 11. The cover is a still from the movie, so I do need issue 11. But there's the first 10 issues of the Toxic Avenger.
Beautiful.
I only have the first and last issue.
Yeah, those are hard, man. The print runs, obviously the first issue is a little bit easier, but the print runs on the rest have to be next to non-existent because, man, you just don't see them ever. It's like Major Bummer from DC. Even though this came from Marvel, right? Nobody fucking bought it. And the same thing. On top of that, I think Toxic Avenger comic back then, a lot of the issues they did sell were the non-traditional comic fans, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Kind of like the Eminem cover coming out to ASM. There's more Eminem fans than there are comic fans, but when we're talking Trauma, it's more niche, but
right.
you have some diehard Trauma fans and they're not giving up their books.
Oh yeah, 100% right. 100% right. Yeah, they're never giving up. It's kind of like, you know, I've been trying to find the original Elvira run from Claypool Comics, right? And it
I
read,
almost got it, but missed it by 2 seconds from my buddy Jared Watertribe J over on Twitter and on Blue Sky, because he had it up, and right after he posted, I claim, oh, sorry, you missed it by 2 seconds.
yeah, like I have the first 8 issues or something like that, but it ran 150 issues. And you're thinking, well, a black and white that ran 150 issues, it has to be fairly prevalent. I mean, it might have been at some point. There might have been a decent print run, but the Elvira fans bought them. They're not giving them up until they die or they just stop liking Elvira, which isn't going to happen anytime soon.
No, she's been beloved since the 80s, and it hasn't relented since.
Right, right.
So should I show a couple books?
Let's see some of your books, man.
I think I can do that. Let's see. All right, here we go. These are books that I picked up this week at my comic shop. It's Frank's or Max or Miami Fresh Comics over on Instagram. This is the first appearance of Chucky in, of all things, Child Play 2. Oh, yeah. C. Woodward is absolutely right. Being a TMNT collector often sucks because when people buy those old issues, they're getting it for nostalgia. They're not looking to resell and make a lot of money. I mean, they will eventually, but not right now because they're keeping it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one here, it's only a 3-issue run. This is when Child's Play started in comics. Innovation took it over with another run with just regular Child's Play. And then there was a Child's Play 3, but you could be mistaken easily by thinking that Innovation, regular Child's Play is the first one. Nope, it is Child's Play 2, which there's the second issue. And doesn't look anything like Chucky, but what do I know? I'm not an artist. Or I was, not so mo.
Yeah, those are real tough to come by too. Innovation was like, I think like number 4 publisher at this time. So it was a fairly decent print runs on these books, you know, but same thing, you know, who's buying Child's Play? Your non-traditional comic fan. Right.
Horror fans, the ones that read Fangoria back from the late 80s, early 90s and go, well, they did an article, I better get that. They're the only ones other than maybe the, hey, I'm at the comic shop, this just came out this week. Yeah, okay, I'll buy this.
Yeah, you know, you're not getting these in an ASM collection that you buy, right?
Right.
You're not
No.
getting these from somebody
Likely not.
in the Justice League, right? These are, you got to look for these books, man.
Well, after that, I finally picked up one of the 2 last issues I needed for Jungle Action. Last one I need is 22, and that should be in my pull box next week.
Very cool. Very cool.
This is the first appearance of, Madam Slay.
Nice.
I think she was in the TV show. I don't know.
I don't know. She slays, though.
Madam
definitely
Slay.
plays.
That could easily be what's the underground African American trans dance style that I'm trying to think of?
Crunk.
Those are a lot of words.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like that could easily.
I know the word, just not all together.
Yes. I'll be back. I'll be back after I'm done embarrassing myself with forgetting words.
I forget words all the time. It's called every day.
After
that, this is the final issue of Dr. Voodoo. This thing here, it was the last issue that I needed. I had the 1 through 4, 5 was the final issue. And when we're talking books that we're trying to find when it's a down market, I got this for, I think, $5, which is just a little over cover. But 2021, people were paying just $20. Why? I need it. And it's there. It's a convenience fee. Like when you go to the supermarket and pay $2 for a bar of candy that you could easily buy in a pack for like 30, 50, 80 cents a piece. This thing here was $8. It was one of the missing issues I needed. So here we go. Iron Man with a nose. Because once Stan Lee made a remark to one of the artists, it looks a little weird when he doesn't have a nose. So they took it to mean, oh, I better start drawing a nose. Then it started taking print, and it took a little while because Stan didn't notice it. But then he picked an issue off the stands and went, dear God, what the hell is that? Stop it. Go back. Go back. And they did almost immediately.
Yeah.
It was just one of those issues that I needed from Catwoman. This is a classic Jim
Nice.
Balint cover. It's very Jokerish.
It's tough. It's a Balint cover
Oh,
and it's a
God.
Joker.
Mike Lehman. Oh, yeah. And then there's this, an early appearance of Harley Quinn as she just joined the DC universe proper, when before she was only in the animated universe.
Yep. That one's tough too.
Each one was like $8.
Oh, nice deal. Ooh.
I didn't have the first issue of this. So for, again, $8, pick that up from the
Good
shop.
deal.
And again, for people that wanted to know where I get my comics, if you watch Instagram, his name is Miami Fresh Comics. He does these claim sales really late nights on Saturday night. I used to put in here afternoon. It just keeps getting later and later. I think the last time he went live was 11 o'clock at night and stopped around 4 a.m.
Ooh.
But he started going, I get sleepy. When I get sleepy, I give my sleepy prices. So that's how I get it for $8. It was just one of those issues I was missing of Our Army at War with Sergeant Rock, because another buddy of mine helped put together a large run of these war comics. There's 5 major DC war comics, and I have a significant amount of them at this point.
Nice.
So these are just pickups just to make sure that I get them all. Unknown Soldier, this is another one, kind of older. Nobody remembers Unknown Soldier anymore, unless you're me.
Hmm.
And this, I was told, was the first appearance of Ben 10 in comics, but it's super low grade. There's like a 3.5. There's a stain there, but it was $1.
Hey, I can't complain there.
But the other one was $10. This right behind it, and it's not high grade either. But you'll see why I picked it up.
Ooh,
Nice.
Yes.
That Red X, yeah.
The first appearance of Red X. This is lower grade. You can see that the side of it's been loved. It's been read quite a few times. The back is kind of crinkly up here at the back cover, but otherwise, newsstands are hard to find, especially when it comes to these old children's books. And the big ones from this run was the 23 and 41. And right after I found this, I went online and got the 41 for $20.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
those are the ones you can find sometimes because they get overlooked. They get put in the kids section at like
Yep.
back issue bins and stuff.
Yep, 100%, 100% right.
And real quick, I'm just going to go through these because last week we were talking about Mark Spears and all the different covers that he's been doing. This isn't everything because I don't have everything, but for those that are trying to find Mark Spears books, he's been doing covers for DC with Action Comics and Shazam lately, issue 19 and 20. 21 was just on FOC, and there is nothing Mark Spears on FOC for DC this week. So this is one of those issues that he worked on. This is a Action Comics number 1080. This is, I think, the C cover.
Yeah.
This is the next issue because he only did 2.
That's great cover.
So anything that he's done now, I'm now putting it into Mylar, but there's one particular one that you're going to see here that I don't know what it is. When I put these things into Mylar, hey, fine. When I put them into OPP, which is from Comic Clear, which I love, I'm not going to knock the company, but when you put these into anything before 1992 and you're living in a high humidity environment like South Florida, they tend to shrivel, and you'll see what I mean. So here is the Vampires issue, World War V, and another great issue, but he only did this one.
Yep.
Then we have one of his Gunslinger. This just came out a couple weeks ago. This is from Jimmy Palmiotti. I think it's going to be a 4-issue series. Lady Fantastic always knocks me for getting Spawn, and you know what? She's right. But in this one event, collecting Spawn worked out for me.
Yeah.
Although it probably would have worked out better had I just paid a lot more money for these particular issues, which you can get this one here for $5 on eBay. Most of these you can get for $5 on eBay.
Yeah, they're high print runs now.
Yeah, but not this. This one here, I actually just picked up. I paid $60 for this because low print run. Dark Horse isn't doing well financially right now. They just had to lay off a lot of people from their staff, much like IDW. So, both companies are hurting, but this was from 2023, still lower print run. It was a FOC variant, and you could have gotten it for easily $7.99. And when you have these books that are already a higher cost, kind of like these Ultra Mega by James Harden, when the print run is lower because the cost is so high, that the print run will be lower. So yeah, I was willing to shell out $60 for this. There's a King Spawn that he did. This one, you couldn't entirely tell that it's his because he doesn't have the classical blue that he uses on almost every cover.
Yeah.
Now, everyone knows what this is. I was aware of who Mark Spears was prior to the series coming out. I knew about the Kickstarter. I didn't get involved. Oops, because these are $1,000 books now. But not this one. This one here got all the way up to $300. You can now get it for about like $220 or so. But you could have easily paid $5.99 from this. It was a Keen Spot book, which already it told you on the back covers how much all of these were printed. So here's the first issue. Here is the second print.
Nice.
Oh, you don't have weird little thing.
Do you have the print? Is it the error cover?
It's sort of, because you can see that it has that weird staining going on. It's not even staining. It's a printing error. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's called a hickey.
Yeah, I hate it.
Great one. I got
This
that
is the third print. Now, you're about to see the next one here. This is what happens when you're using OPP as opposed to Mylar. This is Mylar. You see, looks like glass in a comic.
Yeah.
This is OPP.
Yeah.
Now, most of the Marvel, most of the DC, this will not happen, but high humidity and OPP. I spent 2 years putting all of these into going from bags to Mylar and OPP. And this particular one here, for whatever reason, it's only been in this bag for maybe a couple months at best. And you can see it's already shriveling from the humidity. So certain books, whether you use OPP or bags, it doesn't seem to matter. It'll still shrivel. So certain ones you'll just have to put in Mylar or Mylights.
At most, that's like 5 weeks ago that book came out.
Yeah.
It was not that long ago.
Yeah, and I even got it a week late because I didn't order the A cover, and my shop said, "Oh yeah, it's fine, cover price." So, oh yeah, I'll take it. And still, Jesus.
Yeah.
This is what you learn here watching Not Near Mint, folks. So this is the other issue, number 2. Yes, stop giving your comics hickeys. I try not to chew on my comics. That's when I was younger.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah, it's not like I was eating my baby blanket. Oh, yes, I was. All right. So this is the issue 2 that had the variant cover. So picked up one of those. And I'm going to do that for every issue where I'll get the A cover and I'll get one of the other variants. This just came out this past week. And brilliant cover. But I really like this cover.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Not just because of 2 specific reasons or other 2 gunshot reasons. It's just because I was a big fan of this other particular movie, Kill Bill. He did a cover on Rat City for issue number 4, so that was a cool pickup for cover price. These were almost all cover price, including this one.
Yeah.
The More Brains, I think, only had 200 printed, and they're going for $200 now. I do not have that particular one. The More Brains would be right here on this corner.
All right.
Issue 2 just came out. I was the only person at my shop that ordered this.
Now, listen, I'm going to tell you, because I have that one as well, and I read the first issue. I read the second issue. Do not open that book thinking it's going to look like that inside.
Oh, I have no plans on reading this.
It is like it's not even going to make you feel like Return of the Living Dead. It looks like a Saturday morning cartoon on the inside.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I'll still buy them for the covers.
Yeah, they're great covers.
Like, I remember picking this up going, damn, this is a nice cover. And then I was looking up who Mark Spears was. And yeah, then I was all aboard the Mark Spears train. Even there's a few websites out there that'll tell you about what's the best covers coming out this week.
Yeah.
And like all the websites that would report on that said, yeah, this was cover of the week.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This is the Shazam that came out a few months ago. This was Mark Spears. He did the 19 and 20.
Yeah.
He looks like he's been eating a little too much there, but that's fine. It's Shazam.
Nice broad chest.
Oh, yeah. That's called big boned.
Yeah.
Now, the Spawn cover that is really going for money right now is a 356, but he worked on Spawn at least a year before even that. This was from, I think, 2023. I think this might even be the first cover he did for Spawn. 340. And then the next one we jump to is the 355.
Well,
Violator on it. Did I read any of these? No.
Of course not. I was back.
This is the one that's going for money now. Was that?
That's when I was making fun of you for buying it.
And that's okay. I take things to heart and stride because no matter what, I will keep doing whatever I'm going to do. But this is the one that people are paying like $20, $30, $40 for this week. I paid $2.99, where we were wondering that when the tariffs were going to hit, which I guess is going to be suspended for a month, that that $2.99 Spawn, that'll definitely go away if tariffs hit. Mm-hmm. But those were the Mark Spears books that I probably should have shown last week. But hey, at least I had some time to show it this week.
You know, you mentioned Mark Spears.
I mentioned Mark Spears.
You mentioned Mark Spears, and I got some.
Hey, just having a family meeting here, guys. Sorry.
What? It's okay. Go for it. You know, I got a couple of the Mark Spears covers too, right? I had that one. I got a bunch more that I'm not going to pull out, but I got a couple this past week, like, you know, the Shazam number 20 that just came out, right? And I did get a second print of number 2 here because I had to get that.
My shop didn't get any.
Yeah.
Maybe this coming week.
Then I got this number 3 with the witch and this awesome Marvel 25th anniversary banner around it, right? Now that's pretty cool, right? Those are all cool ones, right?
Very. I don't have them.
Right. And then seeing some recent events, I went and dug something out that I have that I got for 25 cents. You want to see it?
I'm afraid.
That's Giant Ultraman number 1. Yeah. Yeah. This is Mark Spears' first interiors. He did pencils on an Ultraman story, on page 9 of this. Now I'm going to open it up and show you guys.
And as you do that, I have to do this.
Warning, 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 warning. Banger alert, banger alert. Oh, look at the little kitty. And he's playing with the tiny little chick. Wait, you're here for comic books, you dumb asshole! It puts the lotion in the basket. It puts the lotion in the basket.
Oh boy. So here we go. So these are the interiors by Mark, starting right here on this page. And you can see, you know, this is not what you would think of when you look at a Mark Spears, right? Right here you have, you know, you have a fella that we've all recognized, but who is
Hey, that looks like the Schmalk.
It does. Right here you have some, you know,
Superman.
A little bit of that, a little bit of that. And it's essentially, that's who Ultraman is, right? Like, right. What's that right there? We don't even need to see what it is. We know what it is. But this is Mark Spears' first book he ever drew. There are multiple panels of him sleeping in his Clark Kent persona. You know, look, guys, I'm going to tell you something right now. Mark Spears is hot right now, right?
He's been around forever.
He's been around a long time, doing a lot of work. Some of these books might be hard to find. Look, if you love a specific cover or something like a lot and you want to get it, you know, spend your money the way you want to spend it. My recommendation is This
Spend a
book right
quarter.
now is about $80 on the Bay.
120 on eBay.
There you go, 120. That is too expensive for this book. This is a great, this is a great fun comic from the Big Bang Comics universe. I love Big Bang stuff. It's, you know, it's 60s, it's Silver Age style comics that were done in the 90s and 2000s. And I recommend them, but don't, for the love of all that is holy, spend more than $20 on this book, because at $20 it's overpriced. Wait, this book has no value outside of it being Mark Spear's first pencils, right?
For now.
It's fun, but this is a dollar bin book all day long. Okay.
It was a dollar bin book all the way until a few weeks ago.
Exactly. So there's the Mark Spears that I had sitting here, but I got a couple other new ones. You want to see those?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to start off with something fun, which is going to be a Vampirella 674. Vampirella, guys, there is a Luis Perillo. Is that his name? Luis Perillo? Lucio Perillo? Something like that.
Lucio Perillo.
Perillo has 3 black bag editions coming out for Vampirella, where she is topless. The next 3 issues of Vampirella, you can get a black bag. Now, the next one that's coming out, it's a 1 in 10, so that's not going to be coming. The one after that, and the one after that, which I think is 1 and 2 of the new Vampirella run, those are going to be orderable as much as you want, right? So if you want to get them, Perillo nudes, you don't get them very often. But I got a couple of Dynamites. This Green Hornet and Fury. Look, you can Francesco Francavilla could literally draw anything, and I would buy it. Okay, even if it's just the cover, he's not doing interiors. Interiors are solid, but he's not doing interiors. Alex Segura is writing this. Alex is great. I love Alex. Ultimates right there. Man, Ultimates has been just a fucking phenomenal run, right? Like, it's just been so good. Latest issue of JSA came out. Latest Absolute Superman came out. Latest Justice League The Atom Project came out. Surprisingly, got another Dynamite book, Savage Tales. Look at that beautiful Linsner. A Zenoscope book. This is a superhero Zenoscope book, Terror and Fury. Right? I'm really digging it, man. And I had a little pile of Superman books that I grabbed. It's going back.
Metro Word, Safeway Word,
all the way back to House of Brainiac.
Really don't want to do Metro Wars.
But here's a great Frank Cho.
Why you do me like that?
I just love these. Superman makes me happy sometimes. It's a simpler story normally. This Superman cover is not my favorite ever. It's not my favorite ever. It's okay. And then this one, I really like this one. That's Lois. It's a crazy looking Lois. And then I also got a couple. I also got this one. I can't believe I missed this. These are the same guys that did 8 Billion Genies, the Lucky Devils. 8 Billion Genies was fucking brilliant, man. I can't believe I missed
Lucky Devils.
I haven't read it yet, but I will.
Because it hasn't jumped to $30 like how the other 8 Billion did on the same week of release.
Right. Now,
issue went for more than the first.
I think this had a better print run than 8 Billion Genies. Then on top of that, I got 2 semi-naughties. So I got the latest Sweet Paprika. Right now, I did not know that this was a gay romance, but it is. Those are not lady buns on that one. And for a little timeline cleanser, Tacoma, don't let the kids look.
Oh, no, they're gone. Everybody's gone. The room is empty again. I can speak and you can look.
Alien Invasion 1944, number 2, the Tig Old Biddies edition. Listen, if you read Flesh Eating Cheerleaders, which I did, this is a prequel to Flesh Eating Cheerleaders. In fact, if you look in the book, this is from Dren. If you look in the book, it gives you a timeline. Oh, maybe it was only in the first issue. It gives you a timeline of all the Dren books that are in the flesh-eating cheerleader universe. That's a fucking mouthful. These are a handful. That was a mouthful. And so the first issue of this, the nude cover was kind of hard to get. But I was in Midtown, as we all know, and the day after it came out on Thursday, they still had a big old stack of these books left. So if you're in Midtown around Wednesday or Thursday, if there's books at your shop's always selling out of, I guarantee they'll have them. Stop in and pick them up. But that's it. That's what I got. What do you got to show?
Can you open that live?
What?
Whatever's underneath that black bag.
Oh, I did. I just showed it. That was the Tickle Bitties edition. Yeah.
He got 2 apparently.
Yeah. No, I just put it back in the bag.
Oh, okay. You're quick, man. You're like a magician.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Mirka and Dolfo, the sweet paprika, this was what was on the outside. And I was like, well, sweet paprika. And I knew it was a sweet paprika, and it was a Mirka and Dolfo cover, and it was a to be revealed that meant it was a naughty. And I was like, oh, I want to see it. And then, it was, hey, look, it's just not my thing. That's cool if it's your thing. But Mirka and Dolfo is so great. I can deal with some, torrid man-on-man action and still enjoy it. It's also being written by Steve Orlando. How can you complain about that? Right. So. Anyway, back to you, Tacoma.
All right.
Wait, one more. In case you haven't seen it, check to see if your LCS has the ash can.
Oh, nice.
We're taking everyone down with us. It's a flip book that also has "You'll Do Bad Things" on the other side. This is not even in CLZ, so see if your shop has one. Ask them if they do, so you can get one. I think we're taking everyone down with us. I think that one's going to be hot, guys. Pick this book up when it comes out, even if you can't get the
creators are just amazing. So
they're phenomenal creators. Matthew Rosenberg Ashcan Press, I think is his Twitter and his handle. He he did What's the Furthest Place from Here. So first of all, he gives you fucking wild ass names for his books. But secondly, What's the Furthest Place from Here, which I will admit seems to be going way longer than I thought it would have.
I think way longer than they thought it was going to.
I agree. It's still a great read. Like, I can't wait to read it every time it comes out. I honestly think you should take a look for this book. At least get the first issue and read it. It's a very unique premise. I'm not going to tell you any more than that, but see if you can find out about it. But seriously, if it's not on your pull list, see if your shop can still put it on your pull list. It isn't out yet, and pick it up when it comes out.
Now, is that the ash can or is that the actual release?
That's the ash can. That's the ash.
There's ash cans. Shops have just been starting to get this. I was just talking with somebody that was on the show for a period of time, and they were telling me that there is a new ash can that just came out this past week of Bitter Root. I was unaware that Bitter Root is coming back for another run. It's going to continue where it started, where it left off at, but it's going to be the 1960s. So they're going to whole new generation of the family, monsters, everything. I can't wait for that. But I didn't know that ash can came out, but apparently these shops are only getting one of these. So if you got that one, way to go.
No, he actually, my shop had like 20. So next time I'm in, I'll grab you boys a pair if you'd like. I'm sure he'll still have them. But how about we see what you got, Tacoma?
All right, I'm ready. So this one I actually came in a couple weeks ago. And, sometimes you go into your LCS and 10 books came out that week, and 3 of them were ratio covers. And sometimes you go in and they're like, hey, we got no books for you this week. So there was a ratio cover last week that I said, let's just put that aside and I'll get that next time in the shop. This is the 1 in 25 for Dr. Doom and Rocket Raccoon. I just looked at all the variant artists and I could not remember which one did the 1 in 25. So somebody will have to look that up. But this was a fun read. It wasn't quite Luke Cage going up to Dr. Doom in Latvia, but it was Rocket Raccoon being hired to help Dr. Doom go back in time and find out his purpose in the world, in the universe, in this life. It was fun. It was a fun read. So I got that. Now, This past weekend, my wife and I went down to Portland to see one of my all-time favorite singer-songwriters, Ani DeFranco, whom I've been a fan of since 1990, and I've never seen her live. I don't know why I've missed it so much. So we went down, and we're in Portland, and we are partying, hanging out with friends, going to the show, partying after the show, eating amazing food. Then, like Saturday afternoon, my wife goes and does what she usually does Saturday afternoon if we've been out all night. She takes a nap in the hotel. So I go walking down to comic book shops. I found this shop, and it's one of those ones where you walk into the basement of a building that is clearly was not originally retail space. It was, commercial space of some sort. And it just like this long shot of long boxes after long boxes after long boxes. And you're like, okay, this guy's been in the business for a while and he's got lots of comics. That was the good stuff. The bad stuff is you open up these long boxes, they're in these shelves, and they're like hard to pull out. There's nowhere to put them. There's boxes on top of them. There is dividers, but the dividers are like got stickers that were done with a dot matrix printer. And if like that run is gone, nobody's taken the divider out. And people that have looked at books just keep leaving them at the front instead of putting them all the way at the back because it's hard to pull these out. And his prices were a little high. So as cool as the shop was, I didn't get much. But I told him this sort of stuff I was looking for. And one of the things I was looking for was ElfQuest. I have a massive ElfQuest collection, a massive ElfQuest fan. I did not have a first print of issue 1 from Warp Graphics.
Nice.
You look at that. That is the only way on the cover to tell the difference. First print's $1, second print's $1.25, third print is $1.50. This artwork is interesting because every other issue looked more like this, but they did this different style artwork on the front of issue 1 for whatever reason. And then they decided to go with the more cartoony anime style, which I actually like better. But this is issue 1. Now, ElfQuest started out with Fantasy Quarterly #1, which was a company that never ended up paying Wendy and Richard Pini and folded after the first issue came out. And if you look at their first issue, it is not good. It's newspaper paper on the covers. So the covers are really weak, very pixelated. They said, hey, we're going to start our own company because we don't like the way that other people did our books. So they started Warp Graphics, which stands for Wendy and Richard Pini. And they were one of these original self-published independent comics before Turtles that lasted a long time and went on and on and on. So I finally got myself a first issue ElfQuest first print, which makes me super happy. Then, and this made it worth the trip to this place, even if I overpaid a little bit for that one. He goes, I got this other thing. He actually had like a full run, but I also have a full run of the original 1980 magazines. I just did that first print. But he had this other thing. And if anybody out there knows what this is, I know we got an LCS owner there. We got comic knowledge that goes beyond my knowledge. Has anybody ever heard of Dead Spawn?
Dead Spawn.
Dead, I guess, hyphen spawn. I don't know if that's a hyphen over there.
Penny's worked on.
I know about Spawn Ranch. I spent some time there back in the 70s.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with Spawn. Inside Dead Spawn 4, this is a collection. So I assume there were 3 issues before this, but this is a collection. The only name I recognize here besides the Peonies is Trina Robbins, who did this middle one here, Once Upon a Time. Each of these, so this doesn't open. This is like glued shut. But each of these is just a mini comic, or this particular one is like a pull-out construction. And this is from 1980, by the way.
Wow.
So it's like connect the dots, cut it out construction.
That is wild.
This is the Trina Robbins comic strip. If you don't know who Trina Robbins is, really important person to know in the history of comics, just one of the original female creators who whose career spanned like 60 years. Just
First woman to ever draw Wonder Woman.
There you go. You know,
One
and
of
then
the
so
first
then,
underground women cartoonists.
yeah, illustrated stories, traditional. Oh, look at this. Before Force Works.
Oh, that's amazing.
Isn't that cool? And this stuff that's Mr. Yum Goes Berserk. I mean,
Wild.
this drives me wild. Like something I have no knowledge of, just somewhat underground. Like it says on the front, it said comics and fantasy. Like I don't know what any of this is. It's just stories and artwork from almost 45 years ago. Just incredibly cool stuff. Everybody gets like a 6-page strip that they just get to insert in this collection called Dead Spawn 4. So if anybody is familiar in any way, shape, or form, I would love some further information about this. This one is not really risque, but slightly risque.
Whatever you discover, drop it in the comments after the show.
Yeah, please let us know. I would love to find out some more information about any of this. This is an excerpt from the Chronicles of the Seventh Galactic Conflict, which sounds like something I would have written down in my high school notebook, my Trapper Keeper binder. Look at this artwork, right?
That's
Beautiful
great.
fantasy artwork. This is Troll Burger with Cheese by John Finley.
Wow.
Right. Just in that was actually a 2-page spread.
I would have jumped at that, man. That's great.
And I don't know if he had more of these, but I just wanted the one that had the Peony stuff. So here's the Richard and Wendy Peony. So the artwork on this says 78, even though the Dead Spawn came out in 80. So this is about the same time that they just published ElfQuest. And if you know ElfQuest, this is clearly ElfQuest related, but not exactly the way things look. So this character looks like one of the main characters, Skywise, but with a scowl like his friend Cutter, with a sword like Nobody, with a hat that has nothing to do with elves, with troll ears on an elf, and riding a zvoot, which they did ride at one point when they went to capture and kill all the zvoots, but was not their conveyance of choice. Their conveyance of choice was wolves. Mm-hmm. And then on the back, they've got this entire poem about the Sentinel, which again has imagery very adjacent to what came out in the first series of ElfQuest, but not exactly like the first series of ElfQuest. Yeah, absolutely, Michael. And by the way, I am one of the moderators on the new ElfQuest Discord. It's open, but you have to look for it. It's not, they haven't made all the channels public yet. We're waiting. It should happen sometime this month. I don't know Wendy and Richard Peony, but I now work with, once in a while, online, have Teams meetings with somebody who is close to Wendy and Richard Peony. So that's
great.
That's how
congratulations.
Close. Yeah.
I actually think I'm going to be seeing them at a con in March.
They're doing a bunch of cons this year because they're really trying to promote it, because they've got this commitment to the series. And throughout their life, if you've been following ElfQuest for 40 years, you know that they've had many almosts when it comes to getting ElfQuest into like an animated live version. Mm-hmm. They now have people who worked on the Spider-Verse. They've got a commitment from Fox for a pilot. They're as close as they've ever been.
That's great.
And everybody seems pretty positive that something could be happening.
That's great. They deserve it. They deserve it.
So anyway, Dead Spawn 4. If anybody knows anything about that, it's just really cool. It's a defunct company, defunct title, obviously, from 1980, but I'm loving it because it's an ElfQuest thing I did not know existed, and I now have it with my ElfQuest boxes. Yay.
That is pretty damn nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought the only thing I knew about Spawn was whatever Todd McFarlane created, and I guess whatever my mom Squeaky told me. So I guess I'm not going to show any books for tonight. So instead, I want everybody that has not done so yet, if you want to check out the new comics that came out this week, I do these videos every week. I try and drop them Wednesday night or sometime later on Thursday. But those are the books that came out. It's right down there. Just check that out later. But otherwise, I think the topic of the night was supposed to be comics to pick up in a down market. And we're all picking up books, and we just showed you what we've been picking up. But altogether, I mean, we're not seeing these high dollar books flying off the market like they did before. Instead, what I've been noticing from my top 10s putting them out that, again, these are things that I already have. So I'm just watching them to see, hey, Fantastic Four of those early issues are down. Maybe I can finally get my issue 6. So for run collectors, we're still picking those up. But the people that are just collecting because they're investments, I mean, they're not an investment right now, but maybe in the future. But those that have some money, they're only picking up books that are around $50 or less because they are still kind of hedging their bets, not putting all your eggs in one basket. But at the same time, those are a lot of eggs. So personally, I would be looking for those final issues of books that have been going for long periods of time, like that Sandman Mystery Theater that I got the other week for $5. That was a $50 book, easy, for a long period of time. Other things to be picking up, those first appearances that people were looking for way back in 2020, 2021 that were $50, $100 that are now $20, $10 or so. If you're able to pick them up, great. Especially if they've had multiple appearances, because if they just had that one and you don't see them again, well, great. You have a first appearance of somebody nobody knows who the hell they are. Like, I'm sure Punchline was great, and I'm sure she'll be even greater when she's killed off in a Suicide Squad.
Round Hunter, Punchline, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Yeah. Do you remember? So this is going to be a total inside joke if you weren't on Twitter at the time, but do you remember when Aaron Myers sold that error issue of the first cameo of Punchline? The last page, what happened was they missed this in print production, and they had washed the blankets, which means they took a chemical wash and they sprayed it to clear the ink off, and it was totally washed out. The black was all the way run down the back page. You almost never see it in modern comics anymore because they're really good about pulling this stuff out. And Aaron Myers put it up, I want to say, for like $300 or like $1,000.
Somebody bought it.
Somebody bought it. Somebody bought that book. And I hope it was nobody who's watching this show, because I know everybody watches this show are comic fans and not speculators. And I hope some speculator lost their shirt on that, and it caused them to get out of comics and dump them all at bargain basement prices. But don't do things like that, people. Whatever you do, for the love of God, don't do things like that.
I've been saying this for years now, that when you see something hit a top 10, make a mental note of it. And then 6 weeks later, if it's down in price, go ahead and pick it up if you still want it. Or if it's still up there, wait 6 months then. If after 6 months you still want it and the price is still really high or even gone higher, you should probably pick it up right then and there, because likely that price isn't coming down. I did that on that, I think it was a Deadpool Secret Wars #2. It was a variant. I think it was even open order, where it was the first cover appearance of the Gwenpool. It was always a $100 book. I wanted it when I saw Tom do his top 10 list. I'm like, I really want that. I ain't paying $150 for that. So I wait. I see it for $100. That's still a lot of money. Then it comes back up to like $150. After almost a year of waiting, I see it at about maybe $110 or so, and I go, fuck, fine, I did it. And you know what? The book is still up there. It might not still be $100. It might be about $80, $90 on any given day, but those things I wanted, I finally got, and I feel good about it. I don't feel like I regret overpaying maybe a couple dollars. But if you're going to go, hey, this book here is the #1 book in all the land, and I'm going to be the one that gets that high dollar, so that no one's going to be talking about you being the one person that overpaid. They're just going to be laughing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
first of all, two things. Aaron Myers. I don't know who this guy is, but I follow him on Instagram. I used to follow him on Twitter. Now I follow him on Blue Sky. Like, the guy gets books like I don't understand. So whoever
He's
that
a dealer.
is, what's that?
He's a dealer. So he'll go and look at collections. So he'll pay a flat amount, which is why he's able to go, I got this for $1. I got this for $20. It's some like $1,000 book because he's buying a whole swath of stuff.
Okay. So that clears that up.
And
Second
while
of all,
we could do that, I don't have the room for that.
never buy books, error books. Error books in general do not do well 5 months later, 6 months later. Like everyone's like, oh, they switched these 2 pages, or there's 2 pages of Thor and Dr. Aphra, 2 pages of Dr. Aphra and Thor. They usually tend not to do well later. One exception being the C3PO Goldenrod card. That one is a pretty classic error. But in general, like comic books, errors don't do well after the fact. People go all crazy. And you know, even that even goes a little bit for Mark Jewelers, DC Universe. Those things are really cool, but those things are only worth a lot if the comic is worth a lot anyway. Right? If it's a key comic that people want, and it's a DC Universe, and it's a special print, and it's an error, and it's a Mark Jeweler, now you got it. And it's a double cover. Now you really got it. Otherwise, double cover is cool. I've got one double cover, and the funny thing is I forget what it was. So it's somewhere in like 5,000 comics there. It's cool. Mark Jewelers are cool, but I don't know where it is. I have a drawer here, right, with, there we go. I mean, this is how much Mark Jewelers are worth. Y'all could really pull apart some staples and throw these to any books. No, I'm not suggesting.
As long as they have like the newsstand on them.
Right. Don't put it in a direct. But like,
we might start asking questions if you pull something out and it has little black Spider-Man in the bottom left-hand corner. It's like,
or 2013 comic. Don't put a Mark Jewelers in there. But these are cool. These are history of comics, and if you love them, I love them. I love to find books with them.
Tacoma, put that inside of a reprint of Hulk 181, and as you do it, also cut out the Marvel value stamp, and then put it online starting at $1, saying a Mark Jeweler 2024 reprint. Missing Marvel value stamp. So when the person gets it, they'll feel like they got an authentic comic experience.
Absolutely. Mark Jewelers are they're so cool, and they're such a part of the history. And like when you get into the history, it's awesome to like understand that. But yeah, don't go crazy just because it's a Mark Jeweler. You look through enough back issues, you will find Mark Jewelers. You will find them just existing. I bought a random ROM the other day to finish off my ROM run. It was a Mark Jeweler. It's like, yay, but
which just really adds overall maybe $5-10 overall to whatever a book initially costs anyway.
Right.
And as to the DC Universe up there, I don't know how well you can see it. I have a box of nothing but DC Universe variants, and the only things that would be worth like real money past like $10-20 per issue, and most of them would be dollar issues because these were 90s books, and nobody really cares about that stuff. You see them in quarter bins and dollar bins, but like that Superboy #9, that first King Shark, or the I think it's the Flash 91 or 92, the first Impulse, that takes a $20 book up to about $50 or so. So anybody that's putting it online for $100-200, while it is rarer, maybe a 3,000 print run or so, unless it's a niche collector that's specifically looking for that DC Universe, it could just sit there for a long period of time with an overpriced book.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the big books right now, if you're able to afford them, great. But if you still wait, because we still see that this current presidential administration that's a disaster will probably hurt us worse financially. And you'll see people that no longer have jobs that need to sustain themselves, and they will be putting those books up. So if we wait maybe a little bit longer, we'll see prices come down that much further, unless somehow everybody gets large tranches of money that they could start going, hey, I watched this Daredevil Born Again. Where can I get comics? And we see all of them go up. But we are not seeing that. Just the other week, I had on the bottom 5 that Daredevil number 5, I think it was, the first Matador. And it dropped $50 or so on an average because it's not a big key that has anything to do with a TV series, movie, or apparently now the video game with Marvel Rivals.
Yeah. Oh, Marvel Rivals. I didn't know this had to do with Marvel Rivals. I just saw this and I was like, ooh, I got to get that. Yeah. So that Momoko Landshark, I like Momoko, but not like a massive Momoko fan, but some of her stuff I think is really good.
I got that one. I didn't get the Scarlet Witch. And the Scarlet Witch was an okay one, but that one I just really liked the design on the cover.
Just looks really nice, right? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's like $15. That seems about right.
Yeah. Pretty much.
We've been going about an hour, 15 minutes. Don't want to have it go too long because in about 15 minutes, those that are watching on YouTube, you can jump on over to Tony Sanders' channel. He's going to be having The Hunt on for the last time for a little while on Friday nights because that'll be jumping over to Saturday nights. Otherwise, currently right now, The Low Grades is streaming. Biggie Shack just finished up his show, I believe. There's other comic book YouTubers out there. Do check them all out. Otherwise, is there anything that anybody wants to promote for this coming week? Appearances, yes. Anything you're looking for?
I finally got around to doing another episode of Full Run Fridays. I had been mac and cheese is here.
Yay!
I had been big on YouTube doing videos for a while when I first started, like a lot of us. And then I spent a lot of time during COVID making videos and especially going live. Then post-COVID, just went live a lot because it was easy. I actually started going back to my old series, Full Run Fridays, where every Friday at 8 a.m., a new video comes out showing a full, complete run. Still trying to figure out the best format for showing large runs without boring everybody to death. Thanks, Jigs. It's mac and cheese. It can't be bad, right? So this Friday, this morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time, I just had a full run of the Warp Graphics Elf Quest that I showed issue 1 and 2 from. So go check that out. I'd love to get some views on that. I think I got like 8 views. So, starting small, trying to get back to the big where I used to be, or the medium where I used to be. So yeah, Full Run Fridays, every Friday morning, 8 a.m., another run coming out. Thank you.
I was muted. Absolutely check out his shows from Friday mornings. He's over on the West Coast, so 8 a.m. for him might be 11 a.m. for us over here on the East Coast. But also while you're watching, and if you're still watching, smash that like and subscribe if you haven't. I noticed that somebody else subscribed tonight. We got us to 870. It'd be nice to get up to 1,000, but we're not doing this for subs. We're doing this to help make people excited about comic books because this is a great medium. Of course, the big two don't pay everybody appropriately or give them credit. As we just read a recent article in Bleeding Cool with Rob Liefeld and what happened with the Deadpool Wolverine movie premiere, where they kind of sidelined some of the comic creators because they're not real stars. It's like, well, they're the ones that gave them life. But what do I know? I don't think I know anything anymore. So what would I say to that? I don't know.
Nobody exists on purpose. Nobody belongs anywhere. Everybody's gonna die. Come watch TV. Wow, hey, look you guys, the sun's rising.
So yeah, we will be back next week. February the 14th, 9 p.m. Eastern, Old Comic Book Day. We'll have a new subject to discuss, new top 10. Otherwise, check out Blue Sky. And for those that don't know what it is, it's right here underneath my name, but you can find it right there. Otherwise, do check out those books that I post every single week for the new comic books that come out every week. It's listed right down there, and it's in the chat, and it's also on my page. So otherwise, we will see you next week. Thank you all for joining us, and till next time, love y'all. Good night.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I guess I have to end the stream, don't I? Thanks for tuning in. If you want to see this episode again, along with a catalog of back episodes and issues, surf on over to Not Near Mint on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe and hit that bell for notifications.